Look, we are at our final episode, right? Final take of See Us in 10 Years. Had to switch it up a little bit for a few reasons. One, y'all know Rona's real. Number two, number two, I'm feeling just slightly sick. And I didn't want to risk anything, but still wanted to make sure we finished this project. Still wanted to make sure that we were able to, sit down, answer some good questions, reminisce, vision, all that beautiful stuff. But definitely pray for my health. And I appreciate my doctor here taking care of me.
It's me.
Yes.
And for those who are watching in more recent times, you'll understand the reference of Rona. But for our kids watching years from now, he's talking about COVID-19, coronavirus, 2019. It's real. Things how we're doing, how we're living in society right now.
Facts. No, I don't have it, but I'm still feel. So I just wanted to protect everybody, except the queen. You're still here, queen.
Thanks.
Yeah, anytime. But let's get into it. Excited to talk about some mountain valleys and visions today.
First question: what is the most important trait of your relationship?
The most important trait. So I'm gonna go. I'm probably gonna steal the one you're thinking of. Corniness.
That's not what I was thinking. So go for it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I just feel like we're both corny in slightly different ways, but there's also a nice overlap in our corniness as well. And we're also not afraid, I guess, to be corny, like the matching sometimes, the dancing videos that we do, our little inside jokes and stuff. Like, I feel like there's more traits under that corniness, but I feel like it all kind of stems from us both being authentically corny.
Yeah.
I like that trait about us.
Yeah. And kind of going off of that, I had a couple different things come to mind, but I think it kind of goes along with what you just said, but trust. And I think it's because we both have the ability to be our authentic selves all the time. And I think that is what makes it even okay for us to be as corny as we are, not only with each other, but with the world. Because it's like, at the end of the day, I know that I can be myself and not be judged, or not be, even if I'm judged, he ain't going nowhere.
I'll judge a little bit.
Just a little bit. And I do too. But I think it's important to have that level of trust to even be able to be your most vulnerable self, to be like, we always have those moments where it's like, okay, can I say something to you real quick that I would never say to anybody else?
Ever.
Right? Can I say something and not be judged real quick? Like, we have those moments. It's like, I tell him things that I would never tell, or ask him things that I would never ask anybody else, because I know that I trust him. I know that it's going to stay here. I know that he's not going to judge me. I know that we can actually have a conversation about it without making me feel any type of way. So I think that trust is a very, very big part of our relationship. Trusting each other with each other's dreams, trusting each other, holding each other accountable, trust that sometimes we don't know what to do, so we'll ask the other person, like, what should I do? And then pretty much do whatever the other person says. So I think that comes with a very high level of trust that we've built within our relationship.
Yeah, I will say that when I do give advice, it takes about 3 weeks for it to kick in. I'm gonna be real. There's a slight buffer, right, in delay in when the information is sent to when it's received by Sinclair's database. But yes, eventually
it goes through a very stringent buffering and filtering process before it's fully taken into account. But usually we'll go through with it. I just need to vet it a little bit.
Thanks.
So how long have you guys been married? Well, a relationship is one thing, but let's say marriage. How long you guys been married again? It's 2 years now?
It is 2 years and what month is it?
5 months.
5 months. Oh, almost 6 months.
6 days, 22 hours, 7 minutes, and 21, 22, 23 beautiful seconds.
That was all random, wasn't it?
You'll never know.
You will never know.
Wow. Literally keeping a timer going in your head. We've also been together for 10 years and 6 days.
So in your 10-year relationship, in your 2 year and 5 month marriage, what has been the most challenging part?
I would say my biggest challenge and probably still biggest challenge is the balance of that love and business, right? Because I feel like I'm a very that it sure is. Oh, don't hurt me. Oh, but I feel like yeah, I'm a very ambitious person. I know the queen's a very ambitious person. So balancing how much time and effort I'm putting in every single day to our visions, to editing podcasts, to getting customers for Black Wall Street, to just doing XYZ, to kind of better ourselves and create a better, I guess, foundation for our kids and for the legacy, versus spending the intentional daily, weekly, monthly time with the queen, right? The date nights, the massages, the random just we're not gonna do nothing days and just chill together, like making sure that I still kind of do those things. And I feel like in my head, the business is what's going to help prolong and secure the marriage and the family. So in my head, like that's still very important, but I can mess up a little bit on the day to day, make sure she knows I care about her type stuff.
Yep, so my answer. I think that the balance of love and business has been probably the most difficult part, especially in the latter years of the relationship. No, I'm gonna change it so I can have a different answer. It's gonna be showing appreciation to each other. That's been a kind of a reoccurring thing. I think that we both struggle with is like, how do we learn to show how do we learn to show appreciation for one another in a way that is effective to the other person? I feel like we both have our ideas of, and I'll speak for myself. I have ideas of like how I should be showing appreciation to Devon, who does so much for me, who does so much for his family, his friends, for the business. And I think that sometimes I think like, oh, I'm doing this work and he sees what I'm doing. But, sometimes we'll have those conversations where it's like, oh, you missed this, or oh, I'm feeling this type of way. I need my cup filled a little bit more. We like to use that analogy. And, there have been some times where we're not necessarily aligned, where it's like, okay, well, I feel like I've been doing things, but they have not actually been filling the cup. So I've been pouring, but the cup is here and I've been pouring over here on the side. So it's like, hasn't actually been making it into the cup, and that's what's important. And right, the important part is not the intent, but the impact. So I think it's switching, kind of altering your love language in terms of making it something that is effective for the other person, rather than just making something that you think they want to do, or you think that is good for them and that is effective for them. Make sure that you're doing what they feel is effective and what is going to make them feel appreciated, what is going to fill their cup. So I think that that's something that is, it's been a challenge throughout our relationship. It was a challenge early on, and it still is something that comes up. So I think it's something that we're just going to have to continue to evolve. I'm going to have to continue to learn. He's going to have to continue to learn how to show each other appreciation and fill each other's cup in a way that, again, is impactful. Because at the end of the day, we are, the nucleus of our family and our future family, and so we want to make sure that we have a strong foundation now, because we have 11 children run around. 11 children run around. It's going to be even more important that we show each other appreciation and fill each other's cups, because as much as I'm pretty sure, as much as children, are a great asset, I don't think they're doing too much filling. I think they're mostly emptying. So right. We have to make sure that we are filling each other's cups, because it's only, I think, going to get harder from here.
Yeah. Great point. And I feel like that brings us back to the whole trust thing, and being able to trust that if I communicate to you that, hey, I think I need this XYZ, you're not going to like snap on me. Right. And I feel like I've witnessed and growing up, I've witnessed very poor communication in marriages, and when people sometimes ask for certain things in a marriage, it can turn into an argument and turn into something else, and then no one's cup is being poured.
Right.
And then vice versa, the fact that you can say, hey, Devon, I feel like I need this. I feel like you're spending too much time doing work, and I need a date night this week, and I'm not gonna snap off on you either. So yeah, that healthy trust and communication, I feel like is key there, to where yes, we're gonna have our bumps and our valleys and stuff,
Right.
but if we can say, hey, if you go this way, you will reach a mountain, and I say, okay, if the queen says a mountain this way, for sure, let me go ahead and do this and get us to another mountain.
Right. Good analogy.
Thanks.
Beautiful, honestly. Okay, this is third question. What is the most important message you have for Black lovers?
That's a deep one.
Mhm.
I have a semi-radical perception of what Black love is. Before I go, do you want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is for reference every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Yeah.
I got you, Quincy.
Unless I'm like,
communication.
I got this.
Oh, active communication. I love that. I look forward to seeing that. But I would say, so my perception of Black love specifically is, it is the most efficient and radical way to really fight back oppression. Because when you think of just the history of Blackness in America and of Blackness across the world, there's been so many factors and people and empires that have tried to break up literally Black men from Black women. When we look at what happened during the institution of slavery and chattel slavery, specifically in America, they were literally ripping families apart. Kids, dads, husbands, moms, uncles were literally ripped apart from their families and sent all across America to stop Black family units from building. When we look at what's happening today in the prison industrial complex, same thing. Black men and Black women are being ripped from their families on a daily basis to disrupt the construction of healthy Black families. So for me, there's tons of things that you can do, but finding yourself a beautiful partner, finding yourself a powerful partner, and building that healthy, intentional Black family, is you're literally dismantling everything that the luminous they, right? The systemic oppression is trying to do to Black people. If you can raise a healthy family, if you can have your kids, get a solid education and grow up with self-love, if you can make sure that you're eating a nutritionist diet and that your family has that quality of life, mentally, physically, socially, emotionally, economically, all the ease, I feel like you've done your job as a Black family unit. And if we can keep on doing that, like, yeah, I think we can solve some of our own problems through the institution of Black love.
I like it. For me, it kind of goes back to what I was saying a second ago, was that you have to be intentional about catering to the other person, because being Black lovers, as you called it, we have kind of an extra layer to the relationship, to where, the Black man is probably the most feared individuals on earth. The Black woman is probably the most unprotected individuals on earth. So, right, that's an extra layer added on to the relationship that you have to make sure to cater to, right? There's probably going to be a lot of added stress onto both plates. Just being who you are in the world, right? In the workplace, driving when you see a cop, like, just there's things that are added stress that maybe other folks don't have to deal with. So knowing that we as a people deal with more stress, it's again important that you make your home something that is safe, a safe space, right? Somewhere you can come home and take off all of your worries, take off all of your baggage from the world, your armor, all of that. You can take that. You can take the stank face, and I say that, right, because as a woman, I sometimes purposely have a face on so that no one thinks that I'm, because the smile sometimes it means something to somebody, like I want attention, and so you put on a face, right? And then the armor that the Black man always has to carry around. So you get to take all of that off and be 100% you. So I think it's very important that you make your home a safe space with each other, and that you allow each other to be that. There may be some days where you just need to cry, right? And from either person, right? Like if your man comes home and they're like, I just had a really rough day, like allow them to cry, allow them to be that vulnerable space. And then sometimes the woman just needs to like scream, because we can't be that angry Black woman out in public, but in that home, maybe that's the place where we need to do it. But I think that is a very important aspect of the relationship, and making sure that you're building a safe space at home is just allowing each other to be vulnerable and be that just take off all the armor, take off all of the facades, all of the what's the word I'm looking for?
Pull it from me. Pull it from me.
Imposter syndrome.
There we
Gosh.
go.
The imposter syndrome, like that you deal with outside of the home. And I think just having a place where you can take off all of that and really be 100 with each other, I think is important within the relationship. And again, filling each other's cups, like with whatever that means to the other person. Sometimes, after a hard day, I know he probably wants a head rub, like just to lay in my lap and get his head rubbed,
Facts.
right? And that is filling his cup. So allowing space for that, I think is important.
Listen, those lap head rubs hit different. Hit different. Y'all better get you one that you can just lay down and just get your, especially when you got locks or braids and your scalp
In between.
just
Hearts.
it's his different right there.
Question number 4. It's another most important message question. So here we go. Switching gears a little bit. What is the most important message that you all have for Black entrepreneurs?
So I got 2 off the top for most important message for Black entrepreneurs. I feel like this is like, I love this lane, so it's hard for me to just choose one, but I'll make them both short. Do you want to do like 1, 2, 3?
Sure.
There we go. Just in case you got the one that I'm thinking of. But my number 1 message for Black entrepreneurs is to, for sure, find a problem within the Black community, or it can be, globally. But personally, love it if you can find a problem within the Black community that you can solve through business. And some people think like, does that mean starting a nonprofit? No, right? So Black Wall Street, the board game, a problem was people didn't know about the legacy of Tulsa Black Wall Street. A problem was that the wealth within Black America wasn't equitable to the wealth within white America. So we created a board game, still a profitable business, but a board game that solved this problem within the community, right? The Queen's getting into health coaching, and we have the health podcast because we know that Black health is on a decline. I don't know if on a decline is the right word, but we know that when it comes to heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart attack, and all those things, Black rates are disproportionately larger than other Americans out there. So we created a business or a product to solve that problem. And I truly believe that we have some of the most brilliant people in the galaxy with melanin skin, right? We have literally the most brilliant people in the galaxy. So if we can find small to large problems globally that the African diaspora is facing, and we can each, either start a business or work for someone else who has a business that's solving that problem. Again, slowly but surely, we start solving our old problems within the community. So we have strong Black love and Black families, and we also have strong and powerful international Black businesses on top of that, both solving problems, both creating healthy Black individuals and Black families. Like long term, right? 100 years, 200 years from now, it's going to look like a very different society. So that's my number 1. I'll see what the Queen says, and then I'll come back.
I think my number 1 message would be to surround yourself with other Black entrepreneurs. And the reason why I think that that's really critically important is because the imposter syndrome is real. And I think it is even realer for Black entrepreneurs because you don't see them as much, right? For a lot of the companies and, at least big companies that have been around for a long time, they're not Black owned, or if they are, you don't hear about it. And so I feel like we don't always, like when we think of an entrepreneur, I think the average person probably doesn't think of a Black person. But we need to change that narrative to where I think if you start surrounding yourself with Black entrepreneurs, not only are you able to see that, yes, we own businesses as well, but I think that it helps get through those moments of like, can I do this? Those little self-doubt moments, because you see other people around you doing it. So it's like, oh, yes, I can. You can reach out for help on like, hey, having trouble doing this. I think the networking is a very big part of it because they can help you with those barriers. A lot of entrepreneurs deal with the same, no matter what industry, you deal with the same struggles, right? The same mental blocks, the same struggle of finding clients or finding customers or whatever, launching your business, the mountains and valleys, a lot of them have the same themes. So you can likely find somebody else who has been struggling with the same thing. And again, the fact that they can relate to your Blackness, I think will make it even more easy for you to communicate with them, more easy for you to know that they understand where you're coming from. So I think that that's probably the biggest thing, is to surround yourself with other Black entrepreneurs.
Love it. That's a good one. That's a good one for sure. 'Cause I feel like, yeah, we're moving a little bit different than the previous generation did.
Right.
So sometimes it can be difficult when you get things coming from parents, from grandparents, uncles, friends, or even mentors that have, I think, the positive intent, and they're truly trying to help you, but maybe they didn't experience or have the vision that you have because of what was available to them in their time.
Right.
So yeah. So number one, kind of counterintuitive, right, to maybe some of the other things that we've been saying. But I would say you also want to consider, how can you build a business, a brand that is marketable to everybody, right? So yes, solve a problem within the Black community, but how can you solve a problem within the Black community but still be solving problems in other communities as well? For example, some of the two most wealthy Black men in America, I'm forgetting one of his names, but one is Robert Smith and the other is the owner of Worldwide Technologies. Robert Smith owns Vista Equity Capital, literally worth billions of dollars. This other gentleman, I'm forgetting his name, I have this picture in my head, but Worldwide Technologies, they set up IT systems for businesses all across the United States specifically, and even internationally. Both billionaires, both solving problems, yes, within the Black community, because we need access to technology, we need access to equity capital, we need access to be able to do investments to create wealth, but so does everybody else, right? So by them, as Black men starting this business, they're able to, one, be great representation for what we can do, that we can be billionaires, that we can own an international brand, but also that we can work with other people, right? Just because we're Black doesn't mean that other people aren't going to need what we have. Again, the most brilliant people in the galaxy. So while you're building your businesses, while you're supporting problems within the Black community, while you're surrounding yourself with amazing melanated Black entrepreneurs, also think about strategically, how can you also make your business marketable and be open to other folks also supporting you, right? Black Wall Street, the board game, some of our biggest clients, and we've gotten the most support from, like, the game schooling community, the homeschooling community, school districts that aren't necessarily predominantly African American, but they still support and want to teach their students Black history, right? So again, being able to show that, hey, this board game is good for anyone who's trying to learn Black history, trying to learn Native American history, Indigenous history, trying to learn financial literacy. This is an educational tool that happens to be about Black excellence and Black history, right? So think about that. And then the last one is the space that I'm currently in right now, or trying to get in. So I'm doing a lot of research, and my consciousness is just immersed in this right now, is what does the next 30, 40, 100 years of business look like? And how can you not dive into it, but how can you start to vision how your business will be situated in the future economy? When you pass on your business to your kids, is it set up to succeed in 2121, right? And if we know blockchain is the next wave of the internet, if we know cryptocurrency, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, that art space, digital worlds and metaverses, we know in 100 years, maybe we don't know, right? But I have a feeling, next 100 years, that's going to be the norm, right? That's going to be the malls, that's going to be the schools, that's going to be what the internet looks like. So how can you take baby steps towards that future and set up your business to be future proof?
I'm sure I didn't realize or didn't know what NFT stood for until right now.
I got you, Queen. You know what I'm saying? You got you a good one. I got you. You just keep teaching me all the health stuff. I'll keep you hip on the technology.
Fifth question: what challenges do you expect to face in life as a team together, and how do you think you will overcome them? Or maybe a better way to word that is, why are you confident that you can overcome the challenges of the future together?
So I still think it kind of goes back to balancing love and business, right? When we think of when most challenging thing that DeClair, that us as a unit are going to face in 5 years and 10 years and 20 years. I think it's still going to be that balance of love, maybe love, business, and family and kids, and unfortunately, family members going through the cycles of life and just dealing with all of those things while still trying to be locked in to the vision and the ambition. Um, and I feel like I'm pretty confident, and I say pretty confident because I know I'm a big problem in this, and I claim that, right? I claim that, but I'm pretty confident that because of we moved out to Riverside, we have a very supportive family, right? If we're the nucleus, I think our neutrons and our electrons, now our electrons, right? That's the things that are going around.
Yes.
Our electrons and our electron cloud is solid, right? Solid. Our covalent bonds strong. Listen, can't break that. So being able to have grandparents that live out here, great grandparents someday that live out here, just having all that support, I think is we're going to be fine. Number two thing that makes me confident is we talk about this stuff a lot, and I know like we're kind of big planners, and we're like, okay, we're gonna have kids at this time, and Christmas we're gonna be here, and holidays we're gonna be here, knowing what, think life happens, that might not be the plan, but the fact that we have a plan, right, and we know what the steps are. And when we talk to some other couples, they don't have this plan yet, and I love talking about this stuff with other couples, right? So I feel like the vision of what our family looks like and how we balance love, business, and family has been discussed, and the vision and the plan that we set up looks great. So as long as we can get almost there, it'll be beautiful. It'll be great.
And I think my answer would be the same. I think the love and business balance is going to be the biggest, challenge that we will face. Because again, I think it only is going to get harder from here once we add in the kids, once our businesses continue to take off. But I think that we're positioning ourselves right. We're making all the right moves. I think right now is we're making the sacrifices that we need to make, and we're being very strategic now. And
talk about those sacrifices.
Well, I mean, we are currently living in Grandy's house.
Shout out to Grandy.
Shout out to Grandy.
We still being charged rent, just so y'all know.
Yes. But it's like, is that the ideal situation? Maybe not. But this was a very strategic move. This wasn't oh dang, well now we got it right. This was a strategic move. We decided like, okay, I'm going to quit my full-time job. What are some sacrifices, right, that we are going to have to make so that we can make this possible? One of them was downsizing. This was a conscious decision, right? We are going to downsize so that we do not have the pressure of keeping up the mortgage while also trying to build my clientele so that we can survive. Because that's just added stress, and I'm literally leaving my job for the amount of stress that I was in and just for not being happy. So I think leaving that and jumping into another stressful situation where I gotta just deal with, again, paying the mortgage and jumping right into full-time entrepreneurship would just be a lot of added stress. And I don't think knowing me and my personality, would have been able to make the intentional decisions and the intentional planning with building my business how I want it to be and building my health coaching programs and things like that. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I just had to jump right in and with the sharks, basically. So that's one of the sacrifices that we made. But we making it do.
Yeah, making it do what it do.
Making it do what it do, baby.
Equity in the condo, got the condo being rented out. So earlier, it's interesting, the flow of this documentary series, right? Because a lot of the other episodes were in our beautiful, amazing condo, which we love 100%. And now we're at the finale where we're out of that condo, being rented out, getting some passive income. And I think somewhere in these interviews, I said the goal is to free the queen, right?
I'm free.
And she's literally free. Like at the end of this series, right, to the finale, she is literally free. So I think that makes me even more confident because we don't always do what we said we're going to do in the timeline per se, but the things are happening, right? We said we wanted to buy the condo, we bought it. We said we wanted to build up equity and rent it out. We built up equity. Sooner. Happened way sooner. Said we wanted to free the queen, happening. So yeah, the fact that yes, things don't necessarily happen perfectly, but if you have that vision and you're able to put in that work, make those sacrifices. I love that point. Like your vision will come true, right? Timing again might be a little off, but the vision will come true.
Right. And I think on just the point of the timing, right? It's all over the place, right? Because you create your plan, and I love the phrase, like, if you want to see God laugh, like, create a plan, or tell him your plans or whatever. So, so we had the plan, and a lot of things, some things have happened sooner, or we've been pleasantly surprised that our condo has built more equity than we thought in a shorter amount of time, which is beautiful, because we can tap into that again, use it for future investments and things like that. But I think there are other things that have taken a lot longer than we wanted. Like, I don't know if we mentioned the Chicago property at any point during this, but we've been on that journey for over a year now, and still trying to secure and close on the Chicago property, but it's coming, right? We are literally in the last steps of being able to close on this property, get it renovated, and get some tenants in there to get more passive income. So it's just that balance of, okay, yes, this is happening a lot sooner. This is going better than planned, but this over here is like lagging on, right? That balances each other out so that like, okay, we're still on the right path. It's not going to happen exactly how you want it, but these little nuggets of things that are happening, that may not be happening in the timing that we wanted, but are still happening, kind of are signs, I think, from the universe, like, you're on the right path. Keep going. It will happen. It will just happen in its own time. So I truthfully don't even remember the question, but I hope that answers it.
How are you confident that you're going to basically overcome the barriers and obstacles?
I think because we've overcome so many already. I think that was just the last point that I'll make is, I think the reason that we are confident is that we have overcome so much together in our 10 years as a unit, as a couple. So we have many more struggles and challenges ahead of us. But I think the fact that we have conquered so much and done so much of exactly what we said we wanted to do makes us both confident that everything else that we say we want to do for the rest of our lives is going to also happen in its own time.
Facts. So I'm riffing right now. Okay, I'm riffing. Okay, that. We talked about being able to be corny. Perfect example. But time is interesting to me, and really thinking about our consciousness in the past when we first met versus our consciousness now, thinking about how 10 years ago Devon and Sinclair we're living versus now, right? And I just feel like, again, 2012 we were sleeping on the floor, right? Twin bed, floor, all furniture was used or got out of a trash can, to be honest with you. It was a kind of clean trash can. I cleaned it off a little bit, shout out to the Rambles. But sharing a room on EBT, almost dropping out of college, messing up on organic chemistry and fighting all the engineering, like just all the stuff that we have been through together, those barriers, and thinking about, I know we had visions and dreams then. I know we talked about kids then. I know we talked about getting a house then. We talked about being married then. Broke.
Yes.
Twin bed, no sheets. Like, and I just look at, did they see us? You know what I'm saying?
Who's they?
They as us in the past when they were talking about that stuff. Is this what they imagined? Like, did they imagine? I know we talked about owning businesses. We didn't think about, per se, health coaching. We didn't know specifically what we were going to do yet, but we were visioning, right? We were thinking about it. And I just wonder, like, is this anywhere close to what they really saw back then? And I feel like, it's just dope to think about consciousness. Like, well, what was I thinking back then versus living now? And dang, like, I don't know. That's just a dope concept to me.
Yeah. I feel like in some ways, yes. In others, I feel like, at least for me, I don't know that I feel like my journey into entrepreneurship took a lot longer than yours did. I feel like still back then, I probably still saw myself as like CEO of some, or, high exec of some company that I didn't own.
You're still a high exec, girl.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, my bad.
I want that to be in. I want
I
that
didn't see
in.
it. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
Oh man.
But yeah, I didn't like that was the dream, and that's at least when I grew up. Like you grind to become exec of some high company, right? The entrepreneurship, like I don't know, my family wasn't thought of as like a high thing. I feel like it wasn't until later on when I realized like I don't want to work for nobody. And that became the dream. That became the beacon of what success and freedom looks like. So yeah, I feel like in that way, I don't know that I right now look like what I envisioned myself like in 2012, but I know how I feel is better. That makes
2012 or better than what you visioned.
Yes.
That's nice. Yeah, that's actually dope.
Or at least what I thought, because I know like if I probably was where I envisioned myself in 2012, yeah, I'd probably be like it looked nice in my head, but I know the reality of it, like probably would be struggling to take vacations, and as much as we travel, like I'm just like would we be able to travel as much as we want, like kids, like would I even be thinking about having as many kids, like would I be as super stressed out all the time? Probably. So like those types of things where it's like, yeah, no, I'm happy. Whatever. I mean, it was you, but like, I'm happy to that path has gone to a different destination.
That's good to know.
What do you guys think is simply the most important thing in life?
The most important thing in life, and you can take this a lot of different ways, but I would say purpose. Right, having that purpose, that direction in life. That can be people, that can be a cause, that can be literally anything, but really having and knowing I am here for this is my reason, this is my purpose, and being unapologetic in that, being relentless in achieving that purpose.
I would say happiness. I think that is the result of following your purpose. And I think that's what, at the end of the day, most of us are chasing, is the happiness. And I think that comes from being with loved ones, that comes from following your purpose, that comes from just doing things that bring you joy. And I think that is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, whatever else is going to happen in life can happen. But as long as you're still able to be happy and find happiness in your life, then I think you can move on to the next phase of afterlife or whatever comes after, feeling fulfilled and being leaving this life happy, I think is the most important thing.
For the final question of the entire series, where do you see yourselves in 10 years?
So we have literally this written down, right? The 10-year DeClair declaration. We started it 2 years ago. Reviewed that the other day, and we're making pretty good progress on it. But kind of restarting, if we were going to look at DeClair 10 years from now, so this is 2032, right? I would say we are still living in the IE, right? City, Riverside, Rancho, Corona, one of those, or West Harlem. If you know. House with a view. We have a granny flat, maybe 2 granny flats for parents or grandparents that may need a place to stay during that time, or need a little bit of support, so they're staying on the family compound. There's a beautiful pool, infinity pool, jacuzzi that oozes into the pool with a nice view of some kind.
Garden.
There's a garden. Yes, I like that. A nice garden that the queen will take most responsibility over, and I'll turn over soil whenever needed and eat everything. We're both still full-time entrepreneurs with more dedicated staff to help us make the vision come true. I'm not gonna steal everything. I know you want to talk about some stuff, but we have an education center for folks that's supported largely by Play Black Wall Street and IMI. We have 10 years, 3 to 4 beautiful melanated children, geniuses running around, keeping us young, keeping us active, asking all types of questions.
Asking you.
Asking me all types of
I'm
questions.
sending them to you.
That's perfectly fine. We're doing battles in the living room. We're staying off of the lava in the intergalactic galaxy space stuff. Like there's all types of fun games are being played. Building forts, yes. All types of just fun, nerdy, corny dad stuff. I get on their nerves sometimes because I'm corny, and I accept that, and I think that's perfectly okay.
You can be the embarrassing dad.
I am going to be the embarrassing dad. Yes, I'm gonna be like the embarrassing dad, but it's like, oh, that's cool. That's your dad. He's corny, but cool at the same time, type of thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be cool.
Let's go let that sit there for a second.
I'm a cool.
What else? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I can go for vision on so many things, but I feel like the last thing I would say is we have achieved a beautiful love and business balance.
Yes.
Right. I feel like it's going to be an interesting dance, but we have been able to give me the time that I think that I need to accomplish the things, while also making sure that the queen has her dedicated space, time, love, foot massages, scalp massages, all that beautiful stuff as well, whether inside the house or outside the house.
All of the above.
All the above.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'll end it there.
I think just a couple things to add is like the True Health Forever Center or TH4 Center, with our fitness center, our cooking center with like cooking classes and stuff like that, our little health food store, little juicery smoothie place, maybe like some meal prep, like some type of health center as well, where folks can come to get health coaching, or maybe even come to see, like to like partner with like a naturopathic doctor, have they can come and see a doctor. We've talked about having like childcare available there. Trying to make sure we hit on all the things.
There will be somewhere, somehow, an official TH4 studio, because I want to get into more movies. We're doing our first animated series next year. So yeah, there will be a professional grade studio for both audio and video.
Love that. Yeah, so definitely want to have, and inside the fitness center have a dance studio as well. Because that's another passion of mine. Yeah. Let's see what other parts of that. We're traveling all the time. Yeah. With and without the children. So I think having our local trips where we can do, and even international trips where we take the kids.
I will be going to Ghana within the next 10 years. Mark my words. Inside.
Okay. And then traveling a lot. So every couple months. What else? Cooking a lot, but also having some help. Have a little chef that we can call on call. Come and chef us up some pasta real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a nice future.
Yeah, it is.
I'm excited.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Oh yeah, I'm awkward.
It's the first kiss I've got all day.
Fantastic. You got it. Oh yeah.
Well done, Queen.
Well done.
All right. So, would you like this one? It's the night before the wedding. She's about to leave right now. And the next time I see her, we'll be walking down the aisle in her dress. Already? Yeah, what are you running?
Here's a picture.
You just gotta let it go.
Times of the days.
You can cry on to Yeah, next time I see her, she's walking down the aisle with whatever type of dress that she has on, because I have no idea what it looks like.
Why are you asking?
Long time coming. Finally got her. Almost. Finally gonna get a ring on this finger. Maybe. So gotta keep it guessing. But it's been a dope weekend. Everyone kind of congregating. It's been a wild weekend with a bunch of kind of emotional ups and downs, with people getting some bad news, earthquakes and all that. But I think despite all that, it's still been like good energy, positive energy. And that's good. I respect all the people that have been able to put aside their like own personal stuff to still be there for us during this moment. Anything you want to say to us?
It's sort of but I'm ready. I'm excited. And yeah.
I want to kiss one last time. Send the people. Let them know. Alright, my last time kissing Sinclair Wilson. Next time will be Sinclair Walker. Okay. Okay.